Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In continuation of what the last lesson was, we're going to talk a lot about square hinging and just what proper right arm releases and hinging feels like. Most of us are under the impression for quite some time that we kind of got to like roll it over and then hinge it up, right? Where proper hinge is actually kind of back and straight up so that it keeps the handle tied to my pivot rather than me letting it kick away and losing the balance point of the golf swing. So it's no longer really balanced on my side with soft hands. It's really held in the hands, and the hands have to do quite a bit to square it up, meaning that it's not going to be square very long either. And that's going to create a lot of inconsistencies in our striking and in our accuracy. So if I feel like I go back, and most people again kind of like lift and hinge, that kicks all of this away from my body. Kicks the handle away from my body, kicks my arms and my wrists away from my body, and that creates a little bit more of my hands going outside, club going inside, across the line, or even being laid off. And we have a tendency to do the same thing coming down where we're like, boom. I want to match what I'm doing going back with what I'm doing coming down. And if I kick out there, now I'm going to come down and I'm going to have to flip it to get it back to the ball. So we want to get rid of a lot of that movement, which will keep the face squarer longer rather than open. We want to keep that squarer longer so that we have more consistency coming through. So if I can prohibit my arms and shoulders from lifting, from rolling, from hinging even, this is a lot of hinge already. This is no hinge. That's zero hinge. In my setup, I have quite a bit of hinge built in here already. For me to go from where I am at setup in my hinge to a full hinge is that much movement. That is not very much movement. It's very little hinge that's happening. So if I can feel now in my first move that I go straight back, then I work a little bit of the hinge, and the hinge feels like I am going straight over my shoulder, right? This is what a square hinge looks like. I'm not going to hinge it and roll it. Golf club lays off and I lose balance point, right? So if I can feel like my hinge is straight in front of me, and then I turn, whoa, look at where that golf club is. Look how square that is. Look at that beautiful hinge. Look at this box that I have right here of a lot of width and a lot of width in my wrist. This is a lot of control right here. Rather than collapsing or being narrow, this tiny little drill of me just lifting it straight up in front of my arm, straight up in front of my face, creates this proper hinge. So now, if I just turn and I let the club and the balance point of it, once I get to here, there's so much momentum in this head where all the weight is in the golf club. Once I get to here, I just have to let it kick and hinge over, right? It's a fantastic feeling where the club is moving like this instead of like really armsy going through here. It's just kicking over there for me. It's like I get to here, and then I keep turning and my hands get soft, and the club just lays over onto my index finger, onto my right side. Most of us are right-handed, right-sided. This gives us more use of our right side, more use of our right hand. So now, let's talk about how we start incorporating that into our practice sessions. I do this at the beginning of every practice session. I stretch a good bit, right? Really stretching out my sides, loosen up my forearms a little bit, and then I get right into this. I create width and then hinge, and then I throw. And that is a very square way of releasing the golf club, okay? We create width, we can feel like we pull it up, come in through the back door on this where we get rid of the arm swing. I do it right in front of my face. I'm allowing this hinge and that hinge. Most people get stuck just doing this hinge and don't feel the secondary hinge of the wrist. If we think about it as a throwing sport and I'm throwing a ball like this, that's a curve, right? If my palm is looking away from me when I'm throwing, now it's looking right at target, that's a straight throw. There is no curvature in that. Does that make sense? I imagine if you just emulate doing that yourself, you'll be like, oh yeah, my palm is looking away from me, now it's looking there. My palm is looking away from me, it's looking at the ground, that's square, as opposed to this, what we a lot of us do, that means the club face is now going that way. It's super open, okay? Takes a lot of variables out. So if I can feel like I hear, hinge right in front of my face, allow that palm to be looking away, pretty loose in the fingers, now I just move my arm back. Oh wow, that's in a perfect position. If you want to create a little bit of turn, I just leave it there, turn, and I can reach it, and I'm like, oh okay, that's what I feel like I'm turning, but it's very isolated in the right arm, so we don't have to feel turn. I don't want you to get here and now turn, and then have to turn and bring it through. I want you to really isolate it in the arm. I want you to really feel what it's like to let it square hinge and then release through. That's straight up, straight down. I don't grab it, scoop it up. I don't feel any flex through here. That's the great difficulty a lot of us feel. We go to throw it and then we squeeze it, hold it open. Block the rotation of the club. Block the shot. Be the heck right. Squeeze it harder, everything stops. Golf club doesn't stop. I come through here, I squeeze it, golf club keeps going, that's a pull or a hook. If I can feel like I just let it go, boom, keep it nice and square, letting my arm get pulled into extension by the momentum of the club, by the softness of the arm, by the releasing of the arm, then we start to feel those shots that we hit on our golf course, and these are always the best, right? You are so frustrated doing everything you've done all day long, it hasn't worked, everything you did on the range didn't work. You finally walked up to a golf shot and you're like, I don't care anymore, I'm just gonna swing, I'm just gonna hit. Back, through, great golf shot. What happened right there? A, we kind of stopped caring, right? Stopped trying to do something, stopped trying to be perfect. In stopping caring, our ego kind of let go of our result, which meant our right hand let go of a result, and our arm finally released. It just let go. You let go of caring. Your arm let go of the golf club, release the golf club. Great golf shot, right? The next shot you're gonna mess up because your ego's alive again and it's like, I want more speed. And your arm is like, oh, I'm gonna create that speed, or I wanna be more perfect. And we don't follow the logic of what we did before to create that shot. You gotta practice like it's the most important thing in the world and play like you just don't care where the golf ball goes. Probably the most difficult thing in all of sports, in my opinion. So, we work so hard at feeling like our arm is able to throw and release, keep it square and feel the square hinging, so that when we are generating speed in the body and in the ground, the arm can keep that club face square but release at the same time. What a conundrum. I want you to hold it square but release. Such a dynamically opposed contradiction of terms, right? Doesn't make sense to our poor mind. But as you work this drill, as you get better at this, slowly, we're not trying to generate speed with you. We're really trying to maintain control. I feel again like I'm just lifting it straight up and then throwing. Sometimes I will create more width than hinge. Those are all square hinges where the club is moving like this, not through here. Fantastic way to begin your practice. Because if your arm isn't releasing, or it's trying to generate speed for you, you're not using this stuff. When this arm goes really hard, our body shuts down biomechanically to stabilize for this arm to act independent and hit whatever the hell it thinks it's trying to hit. A lot of the time that means we leave weight back. Oh, dang, I'm back here. That puts a lot of stress on our back, wrist, arm, elbow. It's not very conducive to a long career golfing. So, in closing, I just want you to be able to work this a little bit at home with some wiffle balls. You know, you get pretty good at doing this a few times a day with wiffle balls. You're gonna get pretty good at doing it at the beginning of your practice, at the beginning of the meditation that is golf, and the warm-up that is golf. I love to have people go hit balls for 30 minutes and go play golf or go home. Chip for 15 minutes, hit balls for 15, 20 minutes, go play golf or go home. Don't just keep hitting balls, hitting 2 buckets a week. Hit a tiny, small bucket every day. If that's a wiffle ball at home, great. If that's at the driving range, amazing. If it's at the golf course, even better. Make your time most beneficial to you, where you are practicing and developing routines and habitual behaviors so that you can play to your optimum best ability as often as possible. You've got to play as much as you practice. Ranger Rick out there hitting balls like a pro on the driving range, that was me forever. Still me quite a bit. Love practicing. But now I need to play way more if I want my scores to improve. Because golf is played on the golf course. Chip for 20 minutes, hit balls for 20 minutes, go home. Chip for 20 minutes, hit balls for 20 minutes, go to the first tee. Work this drill in the beginning of your practice every time, and you'll start to feel more freedom of this arm on the golf course, more release of this arm on the golf course, more control in your dominant arm on the golf course where we really need it to be applied. You can hinge it straight back and up, back, come in through the back door that way so you don't feel that rotation thing. You get good at doing that. And we add it with just a little bit more width. Hinge up, down. Great little example of this is if I'm here and I'm throwing, throw it, let it rotate, slap you in the back of the armpit. Most people are going to have their palm open. That's leaving the palm open. That's missing everything right. I can let it rotate. If I'm throwing a ball right here, I'm rotating down the whole way. I'm not coming in and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm trying to flip rotate it. I'm releasing and rotating the whole way. Great way to start that drill. Just throw a golf ball at the ground. Let it rotate, slap you in the arm, come back here. Don't hold it up here. We're trying to let the release of the arm be fully released the whole time. I want to let it release and dangle. Under this left arm, right side under the left side. Letting that arm, forearm, rotate me through, not my hand, but slap you in the back of the armpit. Fantastic little beginning of our practice, our meditation, and our ability to develop patterns in our body and our nervous system that work under pressure. Come solve that. Have a great day. Enjoy. Hope you liked it. Hit that like button. Oh, dude, that's the first time I ever said that. Oh, man. Subscribe. Oh, man. Do whatever you want to do, man. Appreciate your support.